Okay, everybody, I don't know how many people will show up here for this. This is completely impromptu, completely off the top of my head. I figured I would do a live stream where we talk about the movie that just came out, The Exorcist Believer, and it'll be a spoilers live stream, so anything can go here. So if you haven't seen this movie and you don't want anything spoiled, don't watch this. But I don't know who's going to come here. I may have to shut this down. I'll be honest with you because uh, this channel is not yet big enough to attract a lot of people. I don't think, just out of the blue like this, and especially people who care about the Exorcist sequel that just came out, and people who don't mind spoilers. So I don't really have much to say on my own. I want to kind of like bounce it off other people with questions. If you have any questions or anything like that. And I'll leave it go for a little while. If it's worthwhile, I'll keep it going, and I will actually save the video. If not, I'll just shut it down. So yeah, so I went to see The Exorcist Believer today. I went to a mall. Actually, there was a mall, shopping mall, and they have a movie theater in there. And I saw the first show of the day on a Friday. It was 12:30 p.m. and I was the only single person in the theater. Nobody else was in the theater. Now, granted, it's a work day, it's a Friday, it's 12:30, in the afternoon, not going to exactly be flooded with people, but I didn't expect to be the only single person in the theater. I thought there'd be other people in there as well. So, yeah, so this is going to be filled with spoilers. I did just put it up. In fact, a video where I talked about the movie, but there were no spoilers in there. And I don't, like I said, I do not expect many people to join. Let's see how many do and want to participate. I see Nicholas popped in. Hello, Nicholas. But there were only two people here now, four people. So we'll see. How many people are going to care about this topic? How many people are, if you do care about this topic, want anything ruined for you? Um, the main reason I went to see this movie was because Ellen Burstyn was returning, and I knew that she was going to be given too much to do. And sure enough, that's the truth. She was not given much to do at all in here. I think her screen time maybe totaled 10 minutes, if that, and she was wasted. She was a wasted appearance. Hello, BMX Seeker. I think you were the one who just said about the trilogy. You know, when you set out to make a video, I mean, I came back from the theater. I was all excited. I had everything in my mind that I wanted to say. When you make a video, you want to kind of sound kind of spontaneous, But I think I should have had it written down, or everything I wanted to say, because I did inevitably forget a bunch of things. For example, the guy who directed it, and now I don't know his name. I want to say David Gordon Green or something like that, ruined the Halloween franchise. He just put out a trilogy of three Halloween movies. Halloween 2018 was pretty good, but they got steadily worse. Halloween 2018 was pretty good. Then after Halloween 2018, what was the one after that? We had Halloween Kills, which wasn't too bad, but it was kind of ridiculous in places, and then the abomination was the conclusion. Halloween Ends, and Halloween really should end after that. That was a pathetic excuse for a Halloween movie. Halloween Ends, and this is the guy who's directing the brand new movie, The Exorcist Believer, and he's supposed to be making a trilogy. The next one is supposed to be coming out in 2025, I heard, and it's going to be called Exorcist Deceiver. Well, I feel like I was deceived by this one, so Deceiver would have been a good title for this one instead of Believer. But yeah, I was worried about him being a director. I was worried about what he was going to bring to the table and make it. It wasn't as pathetic as Halloween Ends, but it wasn't too good either. And Ellen Burstyn, like I say, was wasted in a 10-minute part. And what happens to her character is crazy. It's so stupid. I mean, again, these are spoilers. So if you really don't want to know, please leave. I mean, Ellen Burstyn returns. She's, I think in real life, she's at least 90 years old. I'm not sure of her exact age. And it's supposed to be that after the possession of her daughter Reagan from the first classic movie, she decided to write a book about her story, about how everything that happened with the exorcism and how she dealt with it. And her daughter Reagan was so upset about this that she disowned her mom and shunned her mom, never to see her again. And as we pick up the movie now, and she's near the end of her life, Chris McNeil, played by Ellen Burstyn, feels like she's never going to have an opportunity to ever see Reagan again. And she's very upset about that. But she seems to be really a believer, like I say, in the title says, in wanting to go ahead and give her expertise in this field. What expertise? That's what I want to know about this. What in the world is she going to do? What could she offer here that's going to help anybody? She didn't in the original movie. She didn't perform the exorcism. You had two priests perform the exorcism. So what the hell is she going to do about it? The only thing she has is an experience as a mother, what to feel when her daughter is completely devastated by a demon and violated in every way. And that is all she is, a shoulder to cry on. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about, BMX Seeker, right now. So, you know, yeah, and there's an absurd scene in this movie where she goes into the bedroom of one of the possessed girls. There are two possessed girls, and she goes into the bedroom of one of them, and she's saying, "I tell you in the name of my daughter Reagan to leave this girl. I know you. I remember you," and all this kind of bullshit. And what she gets for her trouble is there's a crucifix that the girl has, and this time instead of doing what with the crucifix, she stabs out. This is the spoiler. She stabs out both Chris McNeil's eyes. But that's probably the most shocking scene of the movie. But it's ridiculous. I mean, you have somebody like this come back. And for what reason? To get in there and say some stupid dialogue like that, hoping to expel the demon just by yelling that, and to get your eyes plucked out? What the heck is the point? You know? Okay, hello, back bacon and beer. How does this compare to Exorcist 2, The Heretic, which is considered the worst? Well, I knew somebody would ask that, and I was thinking that myself. You know, they're both, I would say the Exorcist 2 and this new Exorcist Believer are about the same in the bad department, kind of. I would say that the new one, Exorcist Believer, is a hair better as a film. But for some reason, as bad as Exorcist 2 The Heretic is, and it is bad, I wouldn't mind seeing Exorcist 2 again. Once every few years, I don't mind spinning the Exorcist 2 on a disc because it's so like insane. You know what I mean? It's bad, but you can't believe it. And at least it does have Linda Blair in it too, Exorcist 2. So it's like I might say Exorcist Believer is not as bad as Exorcist 2, but yet for some reason Exorcist 2 has a rewatchability to it more than the new one. If that makes any sense, you know. It's terrible. You've seen it, Astro Zombie? Have you seen this new Exorcist movie? What's the deal? Because I think it's pretty close to, in my review, I said it was kind of mediocre, just average, just there, just lays there, you know. So, it's a real disappointment and did not need to be made. And that's something that I should have said in my video because, sometimes you make a video and you don't write things down, what you're going to say. And, when you make the actual video, maybe you miss things. You have things in your head, but you can't remember everything unless they're written down. So yeah, and there was one thing. This is a big spoiler coming here for those who don't know, and if you care. But there's a cameo appearance at the end of the movie, and who do you think that cameo appearance is? I knew there was going to be a cameo. I wish I didn't know there was going to be one. It's Linda Blair. She appears at the end of the movie for like 3 seconds, looking and sounding just as old as Ellen Burstyn. If you're going to put Linda Blair in a proper sequel, other than Exorcist 2, you had a lot of better years to do it than how she is now. You know, so I feel bad about that. But yeah, the ending is actually a touching, quick moment. It's the last shot of the movie where Linda Blair comes to visit her mom. Again, spoilers here. Her mom, Chris McNeil, whose eyes have been stabbed out by a crucifix by one of these girls, and she's wearing blinders. She thinks she'll never see her daughter again. She said, "I'll never." Earlier in the film, when she still had her eyesight, she said, "I don't think I'll ever see my daughter again." Well, now she's here, and you can't see her still because you're blind. Anyway, and and she's like, at the end of the spoiler, at the end of the movie, she's in the hospital, and she's like, I don't know who she says. Is that you? Who's that? Who's there? Is that you? Somebody walks into the. I forget who it is. Are you so and so? Whoever she's asking for, and Linda Blair. It's Linda Blair. You see this old, wrinkly, arthritic looking hand. It's Linda Blair's hand, the way she looks today, and her face is looking kind of older. So sorry, Linda. And she goes, "No, Mom." This is her regular voice. It's not a demon voice. It just sounds croaky because Linda Blair's up there. She goes, "No, Mom, it's me." And she goes, "Oh, Reagan," and that's the end. So at least she got reunited with Reagan. Hey, Reagan forgave her. Reagan, it took her mom getting both her eyes plucked out before Reagan would bother coming back to her mother and seeing her again after, like, I don't know, 40 years or whatever it is supposed to be. And I wonder, because we're going to get two more sequels in this trash trilogy. I can't believe it. I wonder if Linda Blair is going to return. I tell you, she's a little too old for it, but who knows? You know. Well, as far as doing a ranking of the Exorcist movies, I'd have to see a couple of them again that I don't want to see. I can tell. I've said before, The Exorcist original and Exorcist 3 are the two best, and Exorcist 3 is definitely worth watching. And the reason Exorcist 3 is decent, I think, is because they take a whole different approach. It's first of all, it's written by William Peter Blatty, the same man who was the author of the original Exorcist, and he takes it in a direction about a detective story, the story of Lieutenant Kinderman, who was on the case in the original Exorcist. He's actually, following another case of a Gemini killer, serial killer, and somehow, like, the Exorcist ideas worked interwoven into these. So Exorcist 3 is much more interesting as a different concept and different type of film. When it comes to exorcism movies, I have had enough with that. It's really the most boring, played out thing. Any of these exorcism movies, whether it's the Italian film Beyond the Door, whether it's the two Exorcist prequels that they had out. I mean, what can you do? What can you really do with an exorcism movie? You basically have a demon, or the devil itself, uh, possessing hold of somebody, taking over their body, and making them do all kinds of unspeakable things, and shouting things, and their eyes turn green, and they puke blood or vomit or whatever they do when they speak in demonic tones. And then what do you do? What else is there to do? There is nothing else. They levitate. You can only do this once. They did that in the original Exorcist. That's it. If you're gonna have a sequel, you better have a story that's not just about, oh, look at this, look at me, I'm floating, look at me, my head's spinning around. Look at me, I'm doing all these kind of freaky things. I'm possessed. I'm possessed. You can't have that anymore. To me, that's not enough in a movie. So anyway, yeah, David Gordon Green needs to stay away from horror. The last three Halloween movies were bad too. I actually like the first one, the first Halloween 2018. I was disappointed with Halloween Kills. I didn't think that was as good, and I definitely disliked the third one, Halloween Ends. And it's amazing. As I said earlier, sometimes you forget to say certain things in a video. All right. Well, let me put it to you this way. I forgot to mention the director. I meant to mention the director. Can you believe that? After I made the video and I just uploaded it, my regular review of Exorcist Believer, I said to myself, I forgot to mention David Gordon Green, the director. God. And I was going to say something like, I have no desire to see any more in this. And then they're supposed to have two more. I don't care anymore. And I was going to say that too, but I didn't write it down, so I forgot it. I didn't mention. So I'm mentioning it now. Okay. Halloween, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know. I'm not, put it this way. I'm more fed up with The Exorcist than I am with Halloween. I think Michael Myers has really run its course now. I don't know how they're going to bring him back, but you can do anything, and when it comes to fantasy and horror, you could revive people in a whole bunch of different ways. I mean, they found ways to revive Count Dracula in the old movies. They found ways to revive the Frankenstein monster and Jason from Friday the 13th. They always can find a way. But yeah, I'm fed up with the Halloween movies. I'm fed up with Michael Myers, but for some reason, I'm more likely to see a Michael Myers movie than I am another Exorcist movie. And I wanted to mention that at the end of my review video, and I forgot, as I say. Have I seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose? Yeah, I remember going to the movies to see that. I do remember going to the movies to see that, but I cannot remember a single thing about it, to tell you the truth. Okay, I have never seen Pumpkinhead, believe it or not. The title just put me off, I think, Pumpkinhead, but it's supposed to be really good. And Leprechaun, I'm not interested in Pumpkinhead set, no. But I did buy the Leprechaun set. They had 7 films. I don't know how many Leprechaun films there are. 7 or 8 are there? Anyway, there are 7 films in this set. It cost me $7.99. $8 for a box set of 7 Leprechaun films. And I've seen parts of them, and they're stupid as hell. But I'm gonna watch them at some point. I'm gonna do them, the Leprechaun series. Um, have you read the book Possessed, which is a story that Exorcist is based on? No, I have not. Okay, you say the mainstream crowd wants Michael Myers, but I wouldn't be opposed to them just making a new Halloween movies the way John Carpenter wanted to make them as anthologies without Michael Myers. Yeah, I read somewhere recently that that's actually what they're going to do. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to go for that. Just like the way a lot of people didn't understand and didn't go for that back in 1983, whatever year it was, 82 or 83, for Halloween 3. I don't think they're going to go for that either, you know? Who giving who cameos? John Carpenter cameos? Halloween 4, I I don't know. I don't know. Halloween 4 is it's not the worst sequel. It's not the worst sequel. The problem I have with Halloween 4 is the mask. Really, I don't like the mask in Halloween 4. Oh, now you say I liked Halloween 3. Okay, you mean hold on. You mean you like season 3, Season of the Witch? Yeah, I like it too. I like it too for what it is. Oh, maybe giving Michael Myers cameos in the movie. Look, some things have to end. I mean, you know, I've never seen things go on as crazy as they do these days. I mean, I love the old movie. There's right there. You see right here, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. They had Frankenstein monster right there. Frankenstein. They had the Wolfman. Then they put them together. Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. So they did this stuff back in the 1940s, even, but they knew when to stop. They did stop. After Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, that was it. They were finished. I don't know how many films there are on the Frankenstein series. 6, 7, something like that. But they did stop. They didn't go on to part like 13, part 15, all this kind of stuff, you know. Um, yeah, I don't like the mask. I don't like the mask in part 5. Part 5 is one of the worst. In part 5, Halloween 5, I like the opening sequence. By the way, if you want, this can be like, we can open this up to a movie discussion, a whole horror movie discussion. We don't just have to talk about The Exorcist. Anybody watching this wants to talk about the new Exorcist, let's do it. Oh, hello, Penny Lane. You're in my ears and in my eyes. What's going on? Yeah, that's a great buy for that, right? So we could talk about it, any real horror, science fiction thing if you want. Here, I'm going to be doing live streams over here, just so you know, if you like this one, where I'm going to come on and we're going to talk about just that stuff. We're going to come here, just like I do on my other channel, me, Mr. Mayo. I'm going to come here, and occasionally I'll talk about this stuff. I'm wearing my horror shirt today, as you can see. And, yeah. So I know there's not a lot of people here right now. Like I said, this is my smaller channel. You know, I'm hoping to get more people here one day. Build this channel a bit. It's tough. It's tough. It's a slow climb trying to get this to be a bigger channel. And even though I got more subscribers, I'm close to 1,500 subscribers. But a lot of those people who are 1,500 subscribers are just people who came over from my main channel and joined here. And that's okay. That's okay. But I hope to get new people that are into horror and science fiction that will come over here. I have thousands of horror and sci-fi media, but I'm just not interested in being on camera to do videos. Oh, that's fine. Not everybody is. Not everybody is. Yeah, yeah, the Amityville horror films. That's another thing. I've never seen the original, the Amityville horror. Believe it or not, I've only seen Amityville 2, the Possession, which I saw in the movie theaters, and that was like an Exorcist kind of movie. Um, I'm liking your channel more. Just want you to know, I'm on lunch and have to get back to work. I left a like. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, have I ever made a video ranking my top 10 horror movies to watch for Halloween? No, I never did. And that's definitely an idea. Definitely an idea. But I think some of the ones on my list, I don't think would make a lot of people's list. I mean, it's my own list. Personal movies that I like to watch every year. So yeah, I mean, if by any chance you're watching and you're not subscribed already, please do. Please subscribe. I didn't know this at all. I thought there were three Amityville horror movies. I didn't know there were like 46 movies. I don't believe I've seen The Haunting with Liam Neeson. No, I don't believe so. Yeah, I guess one of the reasons I wanted to put this up, after I'm done live here, I'll probably just, keep it up. One of the reasons I'm doing it is because I missed a lot of details in my regular video. I wanted to cover some things here that were more spoilers than anything. Hello. Don't worry, I didn't go anywhere. Oh yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Well, first of all, I despise, with a capital D, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That comedy piece of shit. I hate that. To me, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre only has the original is a classic and the only one you need. It should have not had any sequels. And of course, I know they did Leatherface, which I saw that in 1990. I haven't seen Leatherface, the third one, since it came out in 1990 in the theater, and I recall it being a muddled mess. I remember it being in serious need of a re-editing. I think they did re-edit it, but the one that came out in the theaters was pretty poor back in 1990. Yeah. So, and then I saw the one that had Matthew McConaughey, I think, was in it. Am I right? that wasn't as bad, but that it wasn't good either. I forget what is that called. The Next Generation, Amityville, The Next Generation. Not Amityville. Texas Chainsaw were on. Texas Chainsaw, The Next Generation. Yeah, don't remember that being too great either. So okay. To me, The Curse of the Werewolf is a boring film. You don't see the werewolf until the very end. I like Hammer movies. I'm a Hammer horror fan, but I don't like much of Curse of the Werewolf. It's boring. I think two things about it. Yvonne Romaine, who plays the beautiful brunette who ends up being the werewolf's mother, Oliver Reed's mother, is drop dead gorgeous. And the end scene with the werewolf is good, and it's a good looking makeup. It's something different, kind of like silver haired wolf werewolf. But overall, it's lacking to me. Do you think the overall story or the scares matter more in horror films you like? I'm always more about the story. The story is always more important to me in any movie, whether it's horror, whether it's science fiction, whether it's drama, whether whatever it is. However, there are some movies that I see primarily just for the horror. For example, the Friday the 13th series. I watch those movies to see Jason Voorhees dispose of a bunch of annoying teenagers in as many imaginable ways he can dream up. It doesn't necessarily need a strong story, the Friday the 13th films. Yeah, and there it is, TCM, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4, Next Generation. Yeah. And I've heard that the reboot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is supposed to be very good. That's what I heard. Yeah, hello, Woodland Goblin. Yeah, this Exorcist movie did not need to be made. Well, cash grab, as they say. It was, I really wanted to say that in my review video too. I wanted to say it's a disgrace to like the original Exorcist. You didn't need this. And Ellen Burstyn coming back for this. It's a shame. I hope she got a lot of money. Hope she could buy a new pair of dentures or something. I really hope she made some money because it was her appearance, a cameo. It's like a cameo almost. It was pathetic. It really was, and that's no slight on her per se. Uh, but I just can't believe she did it. Why would you come back at this point unless you need the money? So the Texas Chainsaw remake we're talking about, right? Astro Zombie. Well, which one is what's the prequel? Is that something new that came out? I might have to try those. What's the names of them? One of them is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Tell me like, the titles, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the year. And is it 2003? I want to say, or something like that. And the prequel, what is that exactly? All right, so we're here now. We can talk about the new Exorcist movie, spoilers and all, or we can talk about anything else in the horror vein. This is my movie channel we're on. This is not me, Mr. Mayo channel. So TCM, the beginning is the prequel to the remake. To the remake. Aha! See, I got the year right anyway on one of them, but I got the wrong movie. 2003, right year, wrong movie. All right. Although I don't have too long to stay here for this little session here, so. I'll mention again, if anyone who missed it, that I was the only one in the theater, just me. It was a Friday at 12:30 in the afternoon, on a work day. So I don't expect the place to be, overrun with a lot of people. But, well, I didn't see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003 with Jessica Biel, but I mean, that's the one I'm hearing is pretty good, right? I'd compare the remake more to Devil's Rejects than original. Yeah, yeah. Well, I love the Devil's Rejects. I mean, the Devil's Rejects to me is like I called the Devil's Rejects after I first saw it a modern day Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like a modern grindy grindhouse kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. By the way, what do people think of the current title, which is the new title? And like I say, unless something comes to me in a dream or a vision, that's really amazing title. This is the one I like. I love the title myself. You don't have to say you like it. If you don't, let me know. Mayo's Offbeat Movies. Um, I'm curious what people think of the title, and it's okay if you don't like it. Don't just butter me up. I don't. Speaking of buttering up, I saw a trailer for the movie Thanksgiving. We carving up people and stuff. That looks good. It looks like a good old fashioned type slasher from the '80s, and I can't wait to see that one. I mean, Thanksgiving. It's called. Yeah, I would say the book is better than the movie because the book goes through a lot more obscenity and atrocities, you know, crazy acts that they couldn't really do all of them. Excuse me. I don't think back in the day they could do all of them. Sometimes in a book, obviously, you're more free to detail a lot of stuff that you wouldn't do otherwise. Yeah, Eli, right? Eli Roth, right? Yes, is doing the movie Thanksgiving. I'm glad to hear that Eli Roth knows what he's doing, and I like Hostel 1 and 2. Also, I also like Hostel 3. I don't know if you've seen Hostel 3. I like all of Hostel films. I like, and I haven't seen Cabin Fever though. So, but it's also back to Exorcist Believer. It's like they really don't know how to make movies anymore. Even some horror movies, some people don't know how to make anymore. It's like they didn't even really know what to do with the exorcism scene, the so-called exorcism scene at the end of the new movie. It's just pathetic. It's just so stupid. It's like let's just throw anything and see what sticks. We have to have an exorcism. Let's again spoilers. Let's have say a whole group of people instead of having like one or two priests. Let's have like the families helping everybody helps. Everybody pitches in. Everybody's going to take a little bit of a stab at the demons. Everybody's going to help and see what works. It's a terrible movie. Now I'm saying terrible. Where in my review I said average. I said it wasn't really unwatchable, which it's not. You got to be fair. You tend to throw words around. You try to say, "Oh, it was terrible. Oh, it was abominable. It was worthless." No, there's some things in it, but it's just by the numbers. The new film, Exorcist Believer, is just by the numbers. Been here, done that, seen it all already. Nothing new to offer. So there you go. So there wasn't even an atmospheric feel? No, there was nothing, Woodland. There was nothing. You can watch my video. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was nothing. No atmosphere, no dread, no fear, no nothing. Just by the numbers, just check the boxes. And I should also mention something else I did mention in my video. There's a lot of, I hate when they do this little homages to the original Exorcist. There's all kinds of things in there that are like, it starts out at the beginning with two dogs fighting at the beginning. You see that in the Iraq sequence. Two vicious dogs are fighting at the beginning of The Exorcist, the original. They do that again here. There's a scene in the original Exorcist where they want to show you that Reagan, the daughter, and Chris McNeil, the mom, are really close and having fun. So in the original film, she steals a cookie out of the cookie jar, and her mom chases it. Give me that. And, well, in this film, they have Dad chasing after his daughter because I think she tries to steal a piece of bacon. Just stop it. Just stop it. I'm gonna start ranting now here. We're live rant. Just you have to do everything freaking right out of copycat everything. And there's other sequences too. I remember with the hospital scene, the original hospital scene, the doctor's office is there performing procedures on Reagan, and they're saying, "Okay, you're going to feel something cold and wet here, Reagan, in a minute, and they might feel a little pressure. Don't move, a little pressure." They say the same thing in the doctor scene here. They say, "Oh, it's going to be something kind of cold and wet, like jelly, and there's going to be some pressure." Damn, no originality, no nothing. And even if it's a homage, don't do homages. Don't pay tribute to other movies because you're just copying yourself, or you're copying other people in this case. So yeah, my review was kind of thorough, but I did forget all these things I'm talking about here. That's why I decided I wanted to do this. You know, so this is like a addendum to my regular review. Do you think that a Chucky versus Leprechaun movie would be good? Oh, I'm sure people would like to see that, but I sure as hell wouldn't have any interest in that. I wouldn't have any interest in that. Well, I'm going to go now, folks. I just wanted to do a short little discussion here. Hopefully, I can do this more often. I'm here. I started basically to talk a little bit more openly and with spoilers about The Exorcist Believer. And then it turned into a little bit more talking about other movies. We can do this again where we talk about movies in the future, okay? So come back again to the next one, folks. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications when I'm live, you'll know, okay? And I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.